Ladies and gentlemen, let us talk matters abductions. You know, whether it is on social media, whether you go to mainstream media, whether it is in the print media, what you would see is an outrage against Ruto abducting his critics. In this video, I want us to look into this sensitive matter and answer a simple question. Is this a political narrative taken too far, or are we dealing with a security scare that should concern us all? Let me repeat. We want to look at this objectively. It's a sensitive matter. We want to look at, are we dealing with a political narrative taken too far, or are we dealing with a real security situation that should concern all well-meaning Kenyans? If that is a subject you are interested in, stay tuned. And if you are watching for the first time, don't forget to subscribe to this channel. I want to be very careful here, because abductions are not things to play with. They are very delicate matters. Abduction, ladies and gentlemen, you pick someone against their will with the intention to harm them. Don't forget that definition. It will help us in the course of this video. You are abducted, meaning that you've been picked against your will by people you don't know, or even if they are people you know, but it is against your will, and the intention is to harm you. In some cases, the people who are abducted are left beaten and tortured badly. In other cases, these people end up dead. So it's a very delicate issue. But there is what we call arrest, which some people might also confuse with a kidnapping or abduction. So, an arrest is done by police. The police will come and tell you why you are being arrested. If there is no drama, you will be picked peacefully, taken to a holding cell, and then later arraigned in court as the law requires. If, let's say, after being told why you are being arrested, you rebel, which we always call resisting arrest, you will be picked by force. So it will be against your will, the same way as kidnapping, but at least you will be picked by people who have identified themselves as law officers, and they would have told you why you are being picked. Okay? But on the kidnapping issue, you are picked by strangers or even people you know, but it is against your will, and the intention is to harm you. With arrest, the intention is to take you to court and charge you, which means you have a chance to fight it out, prove your innocence, or find yourself in jail. The reason as to why I decided to talk about this subject, even though this is a very emotive subject and I wanted to skip it altogether, someone asked me a simple question. Why are you quiet when Kenyans, especially young Kenyans, are being abducted by President Ruto? Is it because you are not concerned, or is it because you've turned a blind eye? Neither. I'm actually concerned, and I've been examining what's going on. I told you I have refused this new trend in Kenya where you are supposed to think alike. I've always tried my level best to interrogate things before I make a conclusion. Let me give you an instance. If today majority are saying that Kenya is a country in Asia, let's say that's what majority of Kenyans are saying, that Kenya is a country but in the continent of Asia. But you know deep down that that is a lie. You have three options. One, just ignore, because you know deep down that Kenya is in Africa, East Africa to be specific. You can keep quiet. If you don't want trouble with the majority, you can just keep quiet. Number two, you can join the majority. Even though you know it's a lie, but you don't want to look like the odd one out. So you can just join them in singing Kenya is in Asia. Alternatively, you can tell them no, Kenya is in Africa. Of course, that will not be the easiest choice because it pits you against the mob. And mob mentality is that whatever the majority are saying is the truth, and anything else is a lie. That is why it's not uncommon to find somebody being lynched only for people to later say, oh, by the way, he's not a thief. But at that time, emotions were high, and they were lynching this person on charges they could not prove. And that is the mentality I'm seeing in Kenya today. If you want to be popular in this country, especially on social media, you have to make Ruto look darker. If you did that within a short time, you are blowing. You are successful. But is it true? For instance, is it true that President Ruto is kidnapping young people for posting AI-generated images of him in a coffin on X? Is it true? If it is true, then it is a very dangerous thing, and we should be very worried. Why? Even though it is indisciplined to do this, and actually, according to our laws, treasonous to wish the president dead, there is also that leverage you have to give people of freedom of expression so that people don't live in fear of expressing themselves. Those who express themselves and in the process infringe on the rights of others need to be told this is wrong. And in that case, they should be arrested. Remember the difference between arrest and kidnapping? They should be arrested. If they have gone against the law, these people should be arrested and arraigned in court. There will be a charge sheet saying this and this and this is why you are arrested. But to kidnap or abduct, that would really be instilling fear and ensuring that Ruto does not have opposition. Is it true that is what Ruto is doing? I want to tell you that absolutely not. And on what basis am I saying this? If Ruto was to go after his political opponents or critics, I can tell you that that social media space would be having fewer bloggers than few. I can tell you that. I know people who insult Ruto from morning to evening. And I'm not saying criticize, I'm saying insult, including their kids, insulting Ruto's kid, insulting Ruto's wife, etc. Every day. That is what they do. That is how they have grown their following. And not a single day is this person even saying they have been threatened to be kidnapped or being arrested. Even when people were using social media to propagate lies against the finance bill or to incite people to go and cause chaos in town, the president, some advisors told him, shut down social media, shut down Twitter, shut down Facebook. He didn't. His argument was, if you do that, if you go that route, there is no coming back out of it. There is no coming back from that. Because you would have taken Kenya to a trajectory where freedom of expression is limited. You are supposed to toe the line. You can't criticize the president. You can't express yourself, etc. And that is something that William Ruto does not want to be part of his legacy. He knows. He lived during Kanu. He knows what limited space people had and why bringing back the multi-party democracy was a good thing. So the president refused. If he was somebody who was scared of criticism, he would have not gone to the X spaces. Remember, the president hosted an X space where the contributors would use very nasty words in reference to him. None of them says that the president came after me after that. No. Why? William Ruto, you may call him what you want, but when it comes to believing in the freedom of expression, he does that. Like I said, you can believe what you want, but evidence is that if this guy was a dictator and he didn't want criticism, by today, social media would just be full with people praising Ruto. The rest would have been removed. But that is not the truth. The truth is, if you go to X, most influencers, like I told you, it is fashionable to criticize Ruto. And they go overboard. They criticize him, they insult his family, and everything. And they do that. They have drawn cartoons of him. They have put him in coffins and etc. They have done all this. So if Ruto was supposed to do this, if Ruto was against democracy, these people would not be there. Number two, if the government was to use their own resources to kidnap, abduct young Kenyans on social media, I want to tell you, you wouldn't even know where they are. In the period leading to 2022, a lot of bodies were found in River Yala. Most of those people are not people who are coming from Yala or Siaya County, for that matter. The people who abduct others, are not jokers. When they pick you, like I said, their intention is to harm you through torture or kill you. There are two things here I want us to be clear on. From the evidence we have, Ruto can actually handle criticism. He has never shown any sign of going after people because they criticize him, especially the young people. They have been criticizing him since he got into power, calling him names, insulting his wife. Even before he was elected president, when he was deputy president, he would be trended using some of the nastiest hashtags. And there is no record of Ruto going after anyone. Yet he could have. He had the powers to do so. I want you to also understand that if government was to go after people in terms of abducting them, then it won't be that easy to figure out. The problem we have is that we either underestimate government or overestimate our knowledge of how government works. They say the government doesn't miss. Governments world over, they don't miss. If they are to come after you, it is carefully planned and they never miss. And they are always looking at what is the repercussion. So, I am persuaded that we don't have a naive government that would be kidnapping people, being captured on CCTV, and with a number plate that is going to be shared on social media. Or holding people in a house that Rigathi knows and will share in the next press conference. Even if you didn't believe in the power of government, you must believe that it is not that naive. Okay? It is not that naive. I can tell you that if NIS was to look for you today, whichever pseudo you are using, they will find you. And if they were to disappear with you, they will disappear with you. But this kind of scenario where you announce that you are anti-government, you post nasty things, the next minute people are posting that you've been kidnapped, and they have a video, and they have number plates. That would be very sloppy. I'm not saying the government is not capable of doing that, but I'm saying it would be very sloppy. That is the work of, in my opinion, amateurs. Now, why do I believe this is not a security scare? I've told you the president, in my opinion, is not involved. And I'm very persuaded that the government, in terms of, in the form of police, is not officially involved in this. And so we go to what Rigathi was saying, that this is a rogue body that is not taking orders from police, is taking order from maybe Ruto or somebody close to Ruto. Okay? So if that is the case, if it is a rogue body that is kidnapping Kenyans, and this rogue body is working on behalf of the president, do you think this rogue body, because Rigathi insisted that this rogue body is also made up of police, so police who are rogue brought together, especially members of NIS, do you think they will be that sloppy? Do you? You think? Because most of the things, even what I was seeing being shared on social media about a safe house, I don't know what, with longitudes and what, they turn out to be people's houses. Actually, I would share with you why they were sharing houses near State House. It's a part of a narrative, in my opinion. If you asked me, without being insensitive to genuine cases of abduction, what I'm seeing happening is taking political differences too far, and a desire, insatiable desire, okay, to bring back chaos on the street. Let me explain why. There's a poster that was being trended. It had some boys and a girl called Naomi. Naomi is an account on X with a photo, who posted William Ruto in a coffin, called him a dog, and said he will die, and demanded that she be picked, that she lives in Rwaka. Of a sudden, this person is already kidnapped and being trended. Okay, politicians, as you know, opportunistic ones, were issuing press conference left and right. Human rights activists from wherever were all over. Naomi and others should be released. Only for it to turn out that Naomi on X is actually a pseudo, being run by a man. This man, thanks to the attention-seeking bug that has actually attacked many Kenyans, this person goes to X, creates a fake account. We call them pseudos. This pseudo, the person calls themselves Naomi Jaber Toto, goes to social media, picks a photo, a random one, and puts it there. People who engages this particular account believe they are engaging a woman, a young girl who is courageous. That account, for purposes of being popular, I told you what to do, insults Ruto from morning to evening. Sensing their claims that people had been abducted for posting William Ruto in a coffin, what does this pseudo do? The pseudo goes ahead, posts William Ruto in a coffin with insults, okay? Posts William Ruto in a coffin, calls him a dog, and says that the pseudo, Naomi, is in Rwaka. Send Subaru, come for me. Within a short time, miraculously, this pseudo is already kidnapped, abducted as they call it. You get that? It's a pseudo. This is not a real person. The real person is hiding somewhere, but the Naomi character is really fake, 100% fake. But somehow, this fake character has already been abducted with evidence, with claims that we even know the vehicle that abducted this person. We even have the CCTV video of the, and remember, this is a fake person. We have the CCTV video of when this person was being abducted. You look at that and then you ask yourself, what's going on? This is a pseudo. This is a fake Naomi. Naomi doesn't exist. But somehow, That Naomi, who doesn't exist, has been abducted by William Ruto and is currently being tortured. And so people are writing, human rights activists are writing pages and pages condemning William Ruto for going after small girls like Naomi. So the person whose photo was trending goes to police. She's shocked. She asks, why am I being trended as kidnapped? I'm seeing myself being trended on social media. I have never been kidnapped. Actually, she goes and has an OB number, fake abduction. This lady is like, why is somebody using my photo on social media and going ahead to claim that I was abducted? And why do we have people claiming they even have CCTV and other things about me being abducted? She's shocked, as any rational Kenyan should have been. But what did I say? Herd mentality. You are not supposed to think differently. Thinking differently makes you either a paid blogger, somebody on Ruto's payroll, or somebody trying to seek Ruto's attention, or someone who is against Kenyans, not a patriot, a sellout. Thinking differently. In a society where you expected that people would think differently, being critical thinker in Kenya, especially on matters political, makes you an enemy. And so this lady is shocked. But because she has reported and the police has shared her photo, guess what happens? Miraculously, the pseudo is updating, saying, guys, thank you, I've been released. Coincidentally, when the owner of this photo shows up and says, I've not been kidnapped, the pseudo that had led Kenyans to really make a lot of noise is now saying, I've been released. And still sharing the photo of that girl. It is a pseudo run by a man, very fake. Naomi doesn't exist. Because it involves tarnishing Ruto's name, we don't have to question it. Questioning it gets you a lot of insult. You can't question it. How dare you? You can't question any of the abduction. All that happens nowadays is make a poster, so and so has been abducted at this time, don't kill our sons, release so and so. You end up finding this so-called, they have trended, release so and so, you find those people okay. And I told you, with abduction, the intention is to hurt you or kill you. Most of the abductions that have been trended on social media of late are people who are either found resting in an office, found on a road trip, etc. So you see, the point where somebody creates a fake account and claims that they have been kidnapped or abducted, and Kenyans buy into that and trend it, it tells you this is politics. Because nobody cares about the truth. All they care about is, can this incite enough people to the street? Even if you listened to Rigathi yesterday, he was, in short, calling for another demonstration. Because their belief is, if they did not succeed to overthrow Ruto in June, this time perhaps they have seen the loopholes and are ready to fix it. And that is why, ladies and gentlemen, I told you I would share why they are sharing houses around State House. The belief is, if they incite Kenyans that these particular houses around State House are the NIS safe houses. Okay? Somehow they now know NIS safe houses. It will take people closer to State House, and if there were to be many, they can overwhelm the security and go to State House and get rid of Ruto. Something that they did not do the other time, they now want to do it. And how do you get people to the street? Incite them. How did they get people to the street during the June mandamanos? Simple. Lie about the finance bill. Claim that it had things that it did not have. And they made it look like it was true. People were told, ladies and gentlemen, that in that finance bill, there was a clause that would tax people for land. And you know, land is very emotive, especially people in the rural. Hearing that you are planning to tax them for owning land, they will not accept that. And those are the things that were run. And it was run even on mainstream media. Lies that they knew were lies. But it worked so well, they used it to mobilize people. Add with the ones that they ferried, they had enough crowd, people who looked like they were just rebelling with finance bill. But then they were exposed because Ruto decided to withdraw the finance bill, did everything they did. They could not hide behind anything. They now just directly said what they had to now openly declare what took them to the street. Ruto had to go. They wanted Ruto out of office through anarchy. They failed, and their belief is they can do it now. I can tell you this. The intention of this so-called abduction is purely meant to incite Kenyans to believe that the president is a dictator, and for that reason, he has to be removed from power. I would not be surprised if Rigathi Gachagua would be telling people even where the so-called abductees are. This is someone who had planned to remove Ruto from power. There is nothing they cannot do. What my expectation is that moving forward, the police should be very vigilant. Because the problem with using sensitive issues like abduction for politics is that somebody might decide to actually abduct people and kill them. I can tell you that. That is how politics is done. People who want to do bad things will not run away from an opportunity. If somebody wanted to cause chaos today in Kenya, and already they have naive youths ranting on social media claiming that they are being abducted, what do you think they will do? They will abduct these youths, harm them or kill them, and of course, all fingers will be pointed at the president. This is not some movie. This has happened. So somebody might take advantage of these claims and hurt innocent young Kenyans. That has happened. People always take advantage of situations like this. And so that is what I think, ladies and gentlemen. If you asked me, I believe there is nothing as a security scare. The only part that I would say is a security scare is that somebody might take advantage of this and actually make these real abductions and even harm the young kids on Twitter. But if you ask me, I'm persuaded this is just politics, an attempt to incite Kenyans to go back to the street. They believe that this time they will correct the mistake of June. The sad part is, because you did not succeed in overthrowing Ruto through anarchy, don't think that you are the only people who saw the loopholes. The government also saw the loopholes. So don't try this. Let's wait for 2027. If you have issues with Ruto, vote for whoever your candidate is. Don't make it look like 2027 will never arrive. It will. We had Kibaki here. He served for 10 years. We had Uhuru, he served for 10 years. He's no longer in office. Ruto will go up to 2027. If you choose to elect somebody new, elect that somebody new. But don't use sensitive issues like abduction, etc. to play politics. Somebody might take advantage of that and harm innocent Kenyans. That is what I wanted to share, ladies and gentlemen. I know this is a very sensitive topic. I'm not dismissing that there could be somebody taking advantage of this and hurting Kenyans. In fact, that is why I'm saying police should be very vigilant and protect those Kenyans, especially the ones who are outspoken, because they become very serious targets. Okay? It's like what they do in other countries. When you are a critic of the government, they give you protection because chances are that somebody is going to take advantage, might kill you, and then blame it on government. So I think the best thing is that these people should be known, the government should know where they are and be vigilant, because another person might take advantage. I'm not diminishing what is going on. If there are genuine cases of abduction, they should be condemned, and the government should take action and protect Kenyans. But I'm telling you that based on what I have understood, how I've analyzed all this, this is purely politics, using a very sensitive issue to whip emotions, to get people back to the street with the hope that this time they are going to remove Ruto from office. If you found this video useful, let me know in the comment sections. And of course, if you disagree, also just disagree in the comment section. I'll engage you. Always, I try my level best to engage you. Otherwise, allow me to thank you for taking your time to watch this video. If you want to know regarding this new plan, new strategy, watch this video.